I would say it was. All right, everybody good? Ready to go? All right. So, like every Tuesday, got back out on the field today. Disappointing loss on Saturday, and we went through the team meeting, position meetings, individual meetings, all those on Sunday. To look through it, and really the message is you can't look in the rearview mirror. You have to move forward with those things, because one thing can lead to another, and we've had examples this year of those things where you've got to put things past and be able to have short memories and move on. And like any time, you got to know what puts you in a position to win a game. All right, what puts you in a position to be where you were at the beginning of the fourth quarter, right? And then you got to know what you did that didn't allow you to win the football game. Eliminate those things, right? Improve those things. And really the difference this week in team meeting, went around the room and had players speak it out and talk it out and say those things. Obviously they're all correct on what they said, the good things and the bad things. And it was coming after their meetings with the offense, defense, special teams, and then their position meetings. So having gotten the corrections. And look, kids are very aware. They know those things. After the fact, though, knowing them, we've got to take those things now to during the game and understanding prior to them. And I don't think anyone would tell you they don't understand those things prior, right? But then pushing through and working through those things and being able to get the win at the end is what we've got to continue to push forward with, and the consistency. And it's a deal where you look at it and say, well, if you didn't totally know how to do it, it's one thing. But when you've proven to do it numerous times, you've proven to compete, the entire game. All right, then you've got to take that now and make it consistent, and that's what we're working towards. That's what we're doing. Congrats to Boston College. We knew it was going to be a 4-quarter game. We weren't able to come out the way we wanted to in the fourth quarter, and we've got to play better football in the fourth quarter and be in a better place to be able to sustain and play with an edge and some toughness that we have to in those situations. So with that, looking forward to the game this weekend. We got a good opponent coming in. Credit Coach Brown and what he's done over his entire career, and where UNC is this year. They had a tough loss last week. I know they'll be coming in hungry, ready to play too. So excited to get going this week. Excited to be back out there again today, and excited to get going on Saturday.
Questions?
In the first half, your defense did a pretty good job containing the running of Castellanos and Robichaud. What did you see in the second half that allowed them to maybe, start to pick up some steam and gain a lot more yards?
Yeah, really, if you look at it at the end of the third quarter, all right, we had allowed 155 yards rushing, right, and at the end of the game, it was just under 310 yards rushing. So you're talking doubled the rushing total in the fourth quarter. Right? Does that mean things were done differently? Does that mean things were called differently? Does that mean things were – no, it's the ability to execute in the fourth that was different than the third and the second and the first. And it's attributed to a lot of different things that we've got to continue to work on and got to continue to get better at. So, yeah, we definitely were aware of it. We saw it, and that was one of the things we talked about Sunday with the team.
With the substitution issues on the defense, is it a case where making the change in the season and guys maybe not being totally on the same page and not having those reps of spring, summer, fall camp and executing whatever sub packages that Kevin wants to put in, those things, is that part of what the issue was, or was it something else when you looked back at it?
Yeah, it's really there's a combination. You could be attributed to a combination of both, Kelly. It's that's the first team we've played also that had the types of substitutions they did. Okay, so you're talking now going from 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end to going to 7 and 8 offensive linemen and 1 receiver. All right, and then 2 backs and 6 offensive linemen. So the matchups were different there, and to line up in a 4-2 nickel defense and that you would play versus a 11 personnel, 3 wide receiver team, and now all of a sudden there's 7 offensive linemen and 2 tight ends in the game. Right? You're not going to do that. Okay, so that's something that was unique in the team that we played. Right, so it wasn't like it was something that we've been practicing, for the last 6 months, 8 months. Right? That's something that weekly you have different personnel groups and things that go in, and when you go to a jumbo hippo type package on the defensive side, obviously you're not putting in smaller bodies, you're putting in bigger bodies. Okay, so the one person here, say one person tweaks an ankle, or one person is in a sub and he's out and then doesn't hear it. There's a lot of moving parts there that we've got to do a better job during the week of creating those situations to be exactly like they are in the game, bottom line. And it's not like it caught you off guard. It was something that they did. We knew they did it. We had the right plan for it. But when you get caught off guard there, that goes back to the week of preparation, and that goes back to how we've got to be able to practice those things and replicate them in real time during the week.
I know you'd like to have back-to-back wins, but what has allowed this team to bounce back from these losses each week this season?
Yeah, I mean, I wish there was a light switch that we flipped on and off that I could just tape up with duct tape and leave it on, but that's not the case. They have bounced back, but it shows, really more so though, Chad, it shows what the team's capable of doing consistently. Okay, right? Yeah, there's that. Well, they bounce back. Well, why should we're so happy with the bounce back, but yet so deflated with, what do you call it, bounce down, I guess? Yeah, a deflation. So it's consistency that we're continuing to work for. So, but that's the thing. The team shows that they can do it. They show that they will do it. They show that they're capable of doing it. And we've got to continue to do it consistently and get that done. I really wish there was a better concrete thing to say in the ups and the bounce back, but there wouldn't be a bounce back if there wasn't a down game. And if I knew what the answer was, there wouldn't be a down game. So.
Coach Key, sort of the same question and theme. Your team, in a very short sample size, definitely plays better as an underdog, or at least with a better result. Is there any good reason you see for that? It's just a coincidence of sorts.
Look, first off, it's illegal in the NCAA to look at lines for games, so, and to even talk about those things. So.
I mean, that's not the thing. Sorry, not the gambling sense.
Well, really, and again, that's something that's made up and talked about in the world. Those are external things that take place. Who's the favorite? Who's not the favorite? Who's supposed to win? Who's not supposed to win? What games are you supposed to win to get to this number of wins, or not supposed to win? And all of a sudden you get to. Those are all external things that are fabricated, right? Without looking at tape, without looking at the other team, without looking at both teams, without looking at the matchups, right? So that, in my mind, is one of the biggest problems we have. Okay, is that for whatever reason. And I say it all the time, guys, there's so many external things that these kids, coaches, adults, that they see every single day. And whether we like it or not, they get ingrained in people's heads, right? So if you could shut off the social media for a week, if you could force everyone to, but I mean, it's almost human nature to do this, to flick through and look at it. And it's not just from social media, from people and from friends or family. It's all over, and that's human nature. It's the way of the world, right? It's been that way ever since I've been involved with football. Right? But we've got to continue to block those things out and have the mindset that the only thing that matters is the message that takes place in the building, the message of, or the knowledge of your opponent based on what you see on tape, right? How you view them, how they match up with you, how you match up with them, your plan, trusting in your plan, trusting in the players around you to execute the plan. And that's something we continue to work on every day and work with every day from a mindset factor of having the right mindset, every game. And look, was the mindset good going into the game? Yeah. I mean, was it a good week of practice? Yeah. I know I'll flat out say when it's not. So, but then that mindset through the game, when you get tired, when it's the third quarter, when it's a key play in the middle of the second quarter that you don't know is going to have an outcome on the game. Look, there's only about 5 or 6 plays in every game that end up having an outcome on that football game. And the beauty of college football is you don't know when those plays are going to happen.
Charlotte?
With getting together for the team meeting and everyone kind of speaking their mind about what they thought went wrong over the weekend, is that kind of unique in your time at Tech? And what do you think is the value in kind of getting those thoughts out there?
No, we have a team meeting after every game on Sunday. All right, we go through the same process. Start at 3:30. Then going through to position meetings, unit meetings, special teams meeting, dinner, team meeting, scouting report overview, and then practice on Sunday night. So the process is the same. The approach that we take into the team meeting is pretty routine. It changes per the previous game and the next game. So having players speak up, that's not something unique or new. But I did want to hear their opinions and more so it's one thing for us to say it. It's one thing for me to say it. It's one thing for someone to say something to their kids. But when you make them repeat it back to you, when you make them say it, it ingrains in your head a little bit more, I think, because now all of a sudden you hear your peers saying the same thing unprovoked. I think that has a bigger influence also on the rest of the guys on the team.
Time for a few more.
There was one play, I think it was in the second half, where they shifted on the offensive line from left to right. They were going towards the north end zone, and Castellanos rolled out and hit the tight end. He was, wide open. Was that a misassignment, or
There was 10 guys on the field.
Well, I mean, was there anything more than that, though?
No, there was 10 guys on the field. The guy that was supposed to be covering him was not on the field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about Haynes King, and it seems like he was forcing the ball down the field a little bit and maybe reverting to some of his older habits in terms of just maybe trusting his arm too much. Is that something that you guys talk about, just going through progressions and trying to maybe not make the special play happen? It seemed like he was maybe trying to force it a little bit at times, throwing the ball.
Yeah, I said a couple weeks ago, we got to continue. We got to play around Haynes. All 3 phases. We really do. And he's such a competitor, and that's what you want in your quarterback position. You want a competitor. You want somebody that's going to want to put it on their back, put it on their shoulders to go win the football game. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen every time. And now they try to press or do something a little bit more to make up some ground or do those things, and the ball goes in a tighter window. And look, there's some of those he's hitting through tight windows and been great plays this season that have been big plays we needed. But there's things that, and I know Chris and Buster both, they're very cognizant of that and work with him, and he's cognizant of that. I mean, golly, you're the quarterback. You understand. You're under a microscope all the time, and you understand exactly what you do, right and wrong. And it's his ability to coach through even the good plays, that things he's got to do better, and that's why he's made so much improvement. And I fully expect Haynes to continue to make improvement and continue to get better and continue to work his tail off to eliminate the things that are the things that are hurting.
Anything else? Chad?
What makes this North Carolina offense so tough?
Yeah, the quarterback. Quarterback, they got good skill players. They added a skill player a couple weeks ago that's a dynamic, explosive player. Really added to it. They're able to get their running backs going, but it goes through Drake. I mean, it's very obvious. They've got experience up front on the O-line. I think the coordinator, play caller is doing a good job of doing what Drake is comfortable with, playing the game through, or calling the game, I should say, through his eyes. So they're a well-rounded team, but the quarterback is the thing that makes it go, and ability to get the ball out and get it to his playmakers.
Go ahead. You want to wrap this up?
I was just curious, you guys ran the ball well at times and then would maybe get away from it at times. Is there anything in particular you can kind of put your finger on why it just is still not kind of clicking?
Yeah, slapped my whole hand on it on Sunday, Saturday night, Sunday, and through yesterday. It's big little, man. It really is. It's big little, and you get a big run here. You know, a lot of things we're doing now are quarterback driven. So you've got some some plays where it's allowed Haynes to make some reads and pull the ball and get on the perimeter. And but the you can't look at a statistic. We talk about stats all the time, and I think that's really excuse me. That's where stats and analytics are different. Stats are a big number. Analytics really drill down, right? And if you're really analytical about things and you really look at it truly like it is, if you take some of the big out of there, right, now the whole does become small, and that's where the inconsistency shows up. And me and Buster talked a long time about this through Saturday night and Sunday, that it's tough to call plays when, hey, we get a 10-yard run or 12-yard run or 8-yard run, within the games. Right now, the last 2 run calls you've had, maybe it was a 1-yard gain, a no-yard gain, a 2-yard gain, and now you're sitting at 2nd and 9. Well, everything in the world tells you need to run the ball because we've been throwing it at that D&D or this and that. Well, you got 20 seconds in there to really 10 seconds to make a full decision between the last play being called and the next one, and you're like, shoot, last 3 times I did it, ran that thing, it was a yard gain. So we've got to do a better job offensively running the football to take that then off of the coordinator, the play calling. Right? So now there is an ease, there is a flow there, that there's consistency within it, because then that affects everything. It affects the defense being on the field. It affects the field position in the game, which that was a game where we needed to win the field position battle, and I think it was a plus or minus 1 yard either way, so it was a dead even field position. That was one of the key factors or key things we needed to be able to win. So that consistency running the football is something that's got to improve. How it's going to improve, there'll be several things this week that we will do to change a couple of things up and try to open some things up for those guys running the football.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, that's it. Thanks, guys. Go Jackets. I'll give you a run plan. If you want to come upstairs, I'll give you the run game plan. Yeah, I'll have it drawn out by formation. Exactly what we're doing.